Hello Year 5, it's Miss Tullett here. Hope you're all having a great week despite the horrible weather. Welcome to this week's geography lesson. And as you can see by the title, today we are going to be looking at the physical geography of Mesoamerica and the Maya area. Now, don't write your date and title yet, because you may choose to not do your work in your book today. Some of you may choose to do it in your book, in which case you'll have to come back and write the date and title. There is another option though if you want to do it that way. So, let's start with some total recall. So just pause the video and see if you can remember these questions. So, can you name the 5 countries where the Maya were located? I've given you the first letter of each one as a bit of a hint. Can you name the continents of the world? And how long does it take for the Earth to orbit the Sun? Okay, so the 5 countries where the Maya were located are Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, El Salvador and Honduras. So well done if you got those. The 7 continents of the world: Asia, Antarctica, Africa, North America, Europe, South America and Australasia or Oceania. And finally, how long does it take for the Earth to orbit the Sun? It takes 365 days, otherwise known as a year. So well done if you got all those correct, well remembered. Okay, so today you need to listen to the basic information that I'm going to give you and listen to how else I would like you to get your information today. And this is where our resourcefulness is going to come in handy as well. So first of all, a bit like last week, I'm going to start with a wonder wall. Just pause the video, let's bring these up a little bit, and I just want you to have a think. What do you think about these pictures? What do you see and what do you wonder? So just have a pause, have a look at those pictures. Okay, so for example, you may have thought, I think these are all different types of landscapes. I see trees and ocean. I wonder where they all are. Okay, right. These will come back into our slides in a minute and they will make more sense to you. So, high order questions start with, what is physical geography? So, physical geography is the study of the world's natural features, including climate and climate's effects on the world. So physical geography could include things like biomes. So we've talked about polar biomes, you've learnt about the rainforest in year 4, so the rainforest biome. We've mentioned how we live in a temperate biome because we get both sunny and cold wet weather. Physical geography can be mountains, it can be oceans, a beach, a cliff. It can be vegetation, forests, rivers, soil, valleys. And it can also be deserts, savannas, rainforests, tundras and taigras. Okay, so these are bottom ones are kind of all the different types of biomes you can find. So basically it's anything that is natural and not man-made in the world, including talking about climate, weather and temperature. And these circled ones here are the ones that we're going to be mainly focusing on today and researching in our work. Looking at that Maya area, there are some rainforest areas, so they will link to the rainforest biomes. There are mountainous areas, there are coastlines, and there's quite dry, deserty areas too. So let's start learning about those areas. So, as you can probably recognise, here is Central America, map of Central America, and in here is the main area that the Maya lived, and up here we've got the Yucatan Peninsula. Remember, that peninsula is surrounded on 3 sides with water. So in the Yucatan Peninsula area, we've got what was called the Northern Lowlands. Okay, so it's obviously more north, but it is lowland, and that is the area of present day Yucatan, Belize, and a bit of Guatemala as well. Then we come a bit more south, and we have the Southern Lowlands, or the Southern Uplands. Okay, so the Southern Lowlands is more of the rainforest area. Okay, tropical, humid, lots and lots of trees, the rainforest biome. And then over here we have the highlands in Guatemala and El Salvador. We have a mountainous area, and again that part has a coastline as well of the Pacific Ocean. So let's just look at another map of this. So the geography of the Maya, 2 key areas, lowlands and highlands, and like we just said, the northern lowlands right up in the peninsula, the southern lowlands where our rainforests are, and then the Maya highlands where we've got mountains and there's the odd volcano in there. So very different landforms in such a small area of the world, really. So the lowlands, as we've just talked about, are divided into the north and south. The north lowlands were made up of dry forests, and actually some of it was just vast lands. It was just dry land, almost desert-like. So it is hot weather. There is insufficient rainfall, so it's not much rainfall at all, which means there's very little water available in this part of Mesoamerica. And the grounds, this is actually we're going to talk about this in a couple of lessons' time. The ground is made of something called limestone. It's a very, very dry soil, and it's very hard to absorb any water at all into it. Okay, and as you can see on this map, you can't see any rivers or lakes or anything on that map. It's just completely green, so it's completely dry land with a really, really hot, dry climate. But also, we obviously have this massive coastline going around the northern lowlands, because that is the Yucatan Peninsula. Okay, and I think this coastline is almost 700 miles long, and we've got the Gulf of Mexico Ocean up here, and then we've got the Caribbean Sea as well. Then we move on to the southern lowlands. So this is covered in rainforest up to about 150 feet high. It's very poor for agriculture because the soil is actually really, really thin. So it's a lot wetter than the northern lowlands. Okay, it gets about 160 inches of rain from May to November. So as you can see, it's got lots of rivers going through, and these were really important for the Maya, which we will also learn about in a few lessons' time. And as you can see, these rivers run right to the coasts. And then finally we got that highland area, which lots of mountains, which have actually come running down all the way through Mexico, and they're now coming at the southern part of Mexico down through El Salvador and Guatemala, and even into Honduras a little bit too. There was lots of sources in these mountains for the Maya, again, which is going to link to one of our later lessons. And also, because of this highland and this mountainous and volcano area, they were also able to get earthquakes and tsunamis, because obviously we mentioned there is another coastline on this side. So today I have just given you some basic information on those physical areas of Mesoamerica and the Maya region. Today you are going to do a bit more research just to find out a little bit more about each of those areas. Now, this is why I said to not write your date yet. You can present your research how you would like. You can choose to do a Microsoft PowerPoint presentation. You can choose to make an information poster or any other kind of presentation using Word, or you can choose to do a single or double page spread in your topic book as we normally do. It is completely up to you. So what do we want you to include in your lovely presentation about the physical geography of this Mayan civilization? So we would like you to talk about the northern lowlands, the southern lowlands and the highlands that we've just looked at. Okay, and I want you to be really distinct about these different areas and find out some really interesting facts about the geography of each of these areas. So think about, maybe describe what types of physical geography are in those areas. So we've just briefly discussed that. The lowlands were dry, desert-like lands with a 700-mile coastline. The southern lowlands was a rainforest, wet with lots of rivers. The highlands was mountainous and volcanic areas. And each climate is obviously very different. So that northern lowlands has a hot climate, dry land, little rainfall, very few rivers. That southern lowland was a humid climate, so still quite hot but a lot wetter, has a lot more rainfall, has the Central American rainforests and a series of rivers. And then in the highlands you've got the Sierra Madre mountain range with volcanoes, and because it's a higher altitude, which means the land is at a higher point, because obviously mountains are a lot higher, and this is why they're called the highlands, the climate is a lot cooler than the northern and southern lowlands. So we would like you to make a really clear point of that in your presentation or your writing, however you would like to do it. So create a presentation or a facts page on the different areas of the Mayan region and the different types of geography. Make it clear, that should say clear. Make it clear what areas these are found in and provide some interesting facts. Remember to add some diagrams. So if you're talking about that coastline, maybe draw that part of the coastline. If you're talking about the rainforest, draw a little picture of the rainforest. If you're talking about the mountains, draw a picture of a mountain. Okay, and like I said, you can choose how you would like to present this. I have provided some useful links for each of the areas, but these aren't all that's out there. If you break down your search into Google, you can get some really good information. So for example, if you search for Sierra Madre Mountains, Guatemala, you'll get some specific information on the mountain ranges and the volcanoes. If you search Yucatan Peninsula coastline information, okay, you can be really specific with your searches and try and get some really interesting facts and figures to include. So there are some links that you can write in and copy if you would like. These two at the bottom are quite generic and kind of cover all of the three areas. I have started a waggle if you are going to do it in your book. Okay, so I've done a nice clear title, Geography of Mesoamerica. Over here I've kind of drawn that Mesoamerica area briefly and just broken down the northern lowlands, southern lowlands and highlands. I've then done a kind of introduction paragraph just explaining those three main geographical regions, and I've started a paragraph about the northern lowlands. So the northern lowlands are located in the Yucatan and is one of the driest areas in the Maya region. There is a lack of rainfall and therefore few rivers and lakes. The Yucatan also comprises of the 700-mile coastline between the Gulf of Mexico and Caribbean Sea, which I've tried to draw then over here. The ground of the lowlands is thin, dry soil made of limestone rock. Temperatures are high and dry. Now that's a very brief explanation. Okay, there's a lot more information out there. So there isn't a WILF today, but it's up to you to have the pride and the perseverance in your work to put in as much information as you can. Remember to take a picture of your book if you do it on your book and send it through to your teacher. If you choose to do a PowerPoint or a Word document, then you can attach it as a file into your chat with your teacher as well, and they are still able to see what you've completed. Okay, so have fun with this. There's a lot of interesting information about the geography, and the fact that it's such a vast amount of geography in this area, it's really, really interesting. Hope you have fun with it. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye!